Good evening. Residents of Perseverance will soon have their first district administration office and community center. The foundation stone was laid yesterday, marking the start of the construction of the two facilities. Both facilities will be modern and are expected to meet the need of the Perseverance community. It was President Wevel Ramkalawan, the Minister of Local Government and Community Affairs, Rosemary Poirot, and the elected member of Perseverance, Teshila Bastien, who laid the foundation stone. This was followed by the unveiling of the plaque and the signing of a contract with the contractor signed to the project, King Jang International Seychelles Say Group. The two facilities will cost the government approximately 13 million rupees and construction work will complete within a year. The new regional representative of the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, UNODC, Ashita Mittal, paid a courtesy call on President Wevel Ramkalawan at State House this morning. They discussed about the UNODC's plan and the possibility of aid for Seychelles in its fight against drugs and crime. Ms. Mittal says she is ready to work with the Seychelles government and that the country is already doing a lot of work, especially in the maritime protection domain.
Seychelles is now a real hub for us for learning. We are establishing a center of excellence here on maritime issues, for looking at sustainability, to also looking at prepping the assets that are there, making sure they are repaired, looking at engineering facilities, but also search and detection issues. We've established a port control unit at the port in Victoria, but also looking at strengthening the work at the airport so that we can make sure that we have a multi-pronged approach. We do appreciate Seychelles taking on the burden of addressing issues of anti-piracy issues, but also to look at the legal finish of other transnational organized crimes in the region. Most importantly, to galvanize the voice also against the environmental crimes that also impact the climate change agenda, including the work that happens on the IUUs, the illegal fishing, and how it impacts the blue economies of the country. So on the end, I would say to all people in Seychelles, the response is to put the people first, to make sure we support the young people who are the strength and wealth of the country, to look at their well-being from our collective efforts to prevent drug use, to make sure there's a good health and opportunities for the country to grow from strength to strength.
The Central Bank of Seychelles has taken the decision to maintain the monetary policy rate for the second quarter of 2025 at 1.75%.
The monetary policy rate will remain on.
The rate is based on financial transactions between the central bank and the commercial banks and other commercial institutions. In a press conference this morning, the second Deputy Governor, Brian Comita, said the decision is aimed at promoting domestic price stability.
The monetary policy rate will remain unchanged at 1.75%, and by implication, the interest rate in the corridor, which is one will be how much central bank will pay the commercial banks overnight when they place the excess funds at the central bank, and this will remain at 0.25%. And if the commercial banks have liquidity shortages, they will come to the central bank, and this will be at an interest rate of 3.25%. The decision to maintain the current monetary policy stance take into consideration different factors. First of all, what's happening in the domestic economy and the external environment, given the Seychelles economy depend heavily on the global environment. Based on the central bank board assessment, it is felt that this current stance will provide adequate support to the economy and will not have any impact on its primary objective, which is promote domestic price stability.
Transport Minister Anthony Deschak said Air Seychelles, like any other airlines, experience minor technical problems at times. Minister Deschak was speaking in the National Assembly yesterday. He was answering a question from the Anse Royal elected member Sylviane Lumiel regarding two incidents earlier this month. The first incident occurred on the 3rd of March after a computer component had to be replaced, and as a result, two flights were cancelled. In another incident, on the 13th of March, two other flights had to be cancelled after it was found that the captain and the first officer had different data. Regarding the age of the aircrafts, Minister Deschak said it will take at least 25 years for an aircraft to be considered an aging plane. He noted that the two Air Seychelles aircrafts are only 6 years old. A group of women entrepreneurs from Rodrigues specializing in arts and crafts is currently in Seychelles for a cultural exchange. Skills such as embroidery, macrame, and crochet were taught by these women entrepreneurs to students, Seychellois entrepreneurs, and senior citizens. The 3-day workshop took place at the Vietnamese restaurant in Okap. Seychellois entrepreneurs in the field of arts and crafts also shared their knowledge with the entrepreneurs from Rodrigues. This cultural exchange is a collaboration between the women entrepreneurs of the Indian Ocean, the Seychelles National Heritage Resource Council, the artisan group in Seychelles, and the citizen engagement platform Seychelles SEPS. The Gillian Dance Company will participate for the second time in the World Artistic Federation Dance Competition. The Seychelles delegation, which will take part in the competition, received their tickets earlier this week in a ceremony at the National Theatre at Montfleury. The Seychelles delegation consists of 11 dancers, 3 judges, and an official. According to Ms. Daniela Rose, the head of the School of Dance, this will be an opportunity to showcase the progress of dance in Seychelles. She also mentioned that this competition focuses on contemporary and jazz dance. The competition will take place in Moscow in Russia this weekend, and the Russian embassy is the main sponsor along with other partners and local businesses. The Seychelles delegation leaves the country today. And in foreign news, Russia said some Western sanctions must be lifted before it begins a maritime ceasefire with Ukraine, within hours of the U.S. announcing the two sides had agreed to halt strikes in the Black Sea in separate deals. Kremlin said it will only take place once sanctions on the number of Russian banks were lifted. And with this, we end the summary. I'll be back at 8 with the Creole Bulletin. Good evening.